Hello, my name is Rutger Volkema. I was doing some work before checking out this one, so I didn't actually get any video of me doing all of that work since my first week is just to sort of brainstorm all of this. I do have evidence that I was working though, real quick. Bunch of Control Shift T stuff. As you can see, I was looking at evidence of, not evidence, but I was looking at some apartment inspiration. I was gathering some photo evidence. The photo evidence is listed in my design document, but I've been working this week on this. It's currently Sunday though, and I'm just now looking at this assignment telling me that I needed the recording, which is unfortunate. But I spent a lot of time doing this. I know it's a bit wordy, but I discussed the game type, all of this. I first spent a lot of time thinking about what I would do. Since I needed an existing game, since I didn't want to program anything, I decided on Minecraft. I'm going to sort of build the level there with all of the assets, also because I didn't have to import anything. And I'm going to research how to use redstone and command blocks to make it like really good quality. I spent a lot of time thinking of the story, the motivations of the characters, what the players would discover, the gameplay as well. I can explain it, but it's probably just going to make this super long. I mean, I suppose the other video was supposed to be long, so I can read through this real quick. So the specific level is meant to be in the Minecraft video game. As there's an existing game already, all I'll need to do is create the level area itself. The game will be a single-player story experience that can be improved upon later. As mentioned previously, it will be heavily narrative-based, but I also wanted to include key characteristics of the mystery genre, such as searching for clues, piecing bits of information together to arrive at conclusions, and even the occasional stealth. The target audience for the level is anyone who's interested in mystery games or stories with unique twists. The game itself, or rather the level, is an area that I want a novel I plan on completing and hopefully publishing before graduation to be started in. Within the novel, you play as an attorney who was hired by someone recently declared guilty for a murder. She wants you to work on an appeal, but to do so, you need to know just what happened that night. Her story of letting herself in with a spare key when she heard strange cries and groans coming from inside her neighbor's apartment, just to see a monster tied up in the center of the room, isn't believable. The previous jury thought as much too. To them, it looked like she had tied up the neighbor and shot him when he broke free. The attorney's intuition told him to look more into it, though. Which brings you to this level, the scene of the crime, to look for evidence that proves this ridiculous story. This level takes place almost instantly. The original level would be in an area in the prison where you're communicating with the suspect, and then it immediately brings you to the scene of the crime. The apartment building was built less than a decade ago, and other than the occasional financial issues of the landlord, nothing is threatened the building or the people inside of it. On the third floor of it, once a month, something secretive happens. In one of those instances, the suspect found themselves at the wrong place at the wrong time, and a life was taken because of it. I do have the map here. This is floor 3. 3C is the suspect's apartment, and then 3A is the murder, victim's apartment. These black boxes represent furniture, and quickly explain my design thoughts in each room. This is meant to be a kitchen, fridge, oven, the counter. It's supposed to curve. Then some sort of island, some chairs. A lot of her chairs are unkempt. I'm thinking I gave her a spare bedroom because I feel as if she's a very social person. Meanwhile, this person over here turned his into a study, as you can see by this desk and the bookshelves and everything. This person keeps to themselves quite a bit. While they're very social. They were given a key. They came over here. This is the chair that the person was tied in. Then they break free, but they're a monster, they're illuminated by the balcony light, and then the person who's standing in the doorway, the suspect, uses a weapon that they were carrying and shoots them. But then the neighbor across the hall walks in. The monster's no longer there, instead it's the neighbor. Meanwhile, the suspect's standing above them, and she reports it to the police. So I spent a lot of the time thinking of the narrative, and of course designing the layout. These aren't going to be interactable with the players, these question mark rooms, but instead the players will walk up to them, knock on the door. There will be something representing a person in there, and then some interactions will take place. I'll still furnish these in the game just because I know the player will be able to look into them and stuff, but they're not going to be able to interact with them. So here's a bunch of furniture here. Here's the office. Here's a waiting desk. Couple couches and a table, laundry room. I did do the arrow to indicate moving upwards. I think that's all pretty good. So I did everything here. I did the narrative, the LDD. I can quickly continue going through that. So the story, the gameplay, the main objective is to gather substantial evidence within the time limit. No matter what path you choose, the only difference in the paths are the method in obtaining this evidence and reaching the end goal. I want my player to read the book at the beginning explaining why they're there, which would have previously been available in an earlier level if I was doing the whole game. Immediately after, I'd have them enter the apartment building, where they'd be exposed to 2 doors that they can't open again after crossing. The paths they would choose would be explained to them as they'd then decide to do the stealth approach or the clue searching approach. So as you can see, the stealth approach, I'm just going to go over what's said here. The stealth approach, they go in here and they have to be really sneaky. I know in like the Caves and Cliffs update in Minecraft, they did some sound-based stuff because a new mob they added can't see but can hear you. So I'm going to incorporate some of that with some redstone, and if they hear any footsteps or any like knocking on a block or anything, then that'll trigger like a loss. And then for the other approach, you follow this, go upstairs, and then here's all the searching for clues. And then the clues are represented by this yellow triangle. So this discusses the map. So the clues found are video footage, which is on the first floor. Forgot to add that. My bad. Silver ingot. So in the struggle, silver ingot was knocked aside. Then there is a broken clock, which will be, I want to say it's in the kitchen. Victim's books will be found in this bookshelf. Claw markings are right here. Ominous warning on the desk. The calendar is in that room as well. Suspect's journal right here. Spare room to sort of show that they're like very sociable. And then spare torn clothes. This is the victim's clothes, and they were left over in the washing machine. Visual effects / audio. So a bunch of the discussion is visual effects. I want to sort of design my apartment realistically. And here are some of the inspirations that I was taking. So there's a game called 12 Minutes. Here are a couple of the rooms in 12 Minutes. It's like a top-down game, but this is helping me like with furniture and stuff. Then I also took inspiration from Sally Face. This exterior specifically is what I had envisioned before realizing why I envisioned that. And then here's just some of the interior here, the hallway. These are real examples of apartment buildings. I kind of wanted something similar to this to base my exterior on. And then Big Bang Theory is also a helpful example with furniture placement and the hallway. That's sort of what I was envisioning here. And then that red thing's a broken elevator, but that's the entrance right there that I found from that. Oh, wrong thing. And that is about everything. I don't need any additional assets, although if I wanted to, if I'm having difficulties, I can do modded furniture. I'm just hoping I don't need to start a new level for that. I'm new to modded stuff since I just got my computer, but if I can create different furniture, and that honestly might look really good. Feature list, stealth losing mechanic. If you're caught, you lose, like I discussed previously. Not close enough clues losing mechanic. So as discussed here, I wanted some command blocks. That's because the losing condition is a timer. If you run out of time and you don't have enough evidence, then you lose. But that also means I need to do a working timer using the command blocks. Some items and redstone triggers for notes, which are the dialogue substitutes. It's the book and quills. Redstone that detects clues / questions to NPCs. An area where you can turn in clues and find out what happened. Redstone around the map for dispensing books and triggering events. and command blocks for changing stats of creatures and triggering events. Potential additions, I could add a note block configuration to reduce eerie background noises for either the whole level or just an area meant to be stressful. And I was planning on doing that in the stealthy area, so long as the sound stuff isn't interfering with that. And I feel like that'd make the entire interaction a lot stealthier, but that's a potential addition because I know that's going to take a lot of time. As can be seen here, music, I envision taking 6 hours. Honestly, I envision it taking even more. That can take tens of hours in my eyes. But that is everything I've been doing. Again, I'm sorry I didn't get any video beforehand. I didn't know I needed the video, but I will be sure to do so in the future. Thank you for watching.